Hello there, I'm Chrissy. You found my YouTube channel, Chrissy Love, where I exclusively review fragrance. And today I am talking about 13 perfumes from the house of Reminiscence. And they are the ones that came out with the Les Notes Gourmand line. This is one of them here that got a lot of acclaim. And before that, I hadn't really heard of them. They kind of fly under the radar. They're really inexpensive on like Fragrance X and Fragrance Net all the time. The bottles before this tended to not be that glamorous. And once I smelled this, I knew I had to get my nose on more of their perfumes. And to describe them in one word, I would say subtle. The majority of them are really subtle, easy, elusive, but really comforting, beautiful scents that are really well blended. And so I'm really excited to give you my thoughts on 13 Reminiscence perfumes. So thank you for being here and liking and commenting and subscribing. It means a lot to me to be part of this community with you. And to communicate with you more, I am now on TikTok and Instagram giving almost daily scent of the day videos. So that's been fun, little 1-minute clips. And I'm also posting to YouTube twice a week. So be sure to check that out. So let's jump right into my review of 13 Reminiscence perfumes. I am kicking it off with one from the Les Notes Gourmand, and this actually came out in 2013. So it's been around for longer than I realized, and that is the Guimauve. And this is my favorite of the three, though I will review all three. And when I first spray this on my skin, I'm just going to remind myself, I've already taken notes and everything at this point. It's a really soapy marshmallow. It's creamy and fluffy, but it has a slight soapy bitterness to it. But on the dry down, that's when it just slays me because it's this very pillowy, sweet marshmallow. It's creamy. There's a little bit of floral. To me, I thought it was jasmine, but I'm not. Yeah, jasmine is one of the notes, so it could have been jasmine, yeah. But it's not really intrusive. It's a little bit like a sweet musk, pillowy with marshmallow. It's very sophisticated. It reminds me a bit of a very expensive hotel soap. It's just beautiful. It really is. And it just gets better with time on your skin. It develops so nicely. And the performance is beast mode. I could smell it on me all day and I was loving it, just drinking it up. So Guimauve is absolutely gorgeous if you want a marshmallow that's not gourmand. And that is Les Notes Gourmand Guimauve. The sister to that is Heliotrope. And this has top notes of fig and green notes, middle notes of almond, heliotrope, patchouli, sandalwood, and cedar, and base notes of, it's my mouth, base notes of tonka bean, vanilla, benzoin, and musk. And on first spray on me, it's a very creamy, dreamy coconut. I mean, coconut isn't in the notes, but maybe the tonka bean is coming off that way on me. I don't know. So it smells like coconut and vanilla with a little hint of patchouli in it. It's very calming and peaceful. And the dry down, that almond really starts to stand out. It's a creamy almond. It's vanillic, so it's not really overly sweet, but it's like a beautiful almond vanilla scent. So it's really approachable and cuddly and comforting. It's not super complex, but it is well blended. And it's a joy. It is a joy. If you like almond, this is a subtle, beautiful almond, creamy, easy to wear. But the performance is where it kind of lets me down because it's pretty much a skin scent unless I super overspray it. But you know what? Subtle isn't always a bad thing. And I think that this is one that is very work friendly because it feels like a skin scent. It feels like it's you versus a perfume that's wearing you. So I really like this one, and that is Heliotrope. Rounding that line out, I was on to Dragee, and this actually came out in 2012, so it actually was the first one of the three, interestingly. And the top notes are mandarin orange, cardamom, and petitgrain. The middle notes are almond blossom, orange blossom, and plum, and the base notes are vanilla, musk, and cedar. And this is lively and fun. So on first spray, I get like vanilla, fruit punch, and Play-Doh. Yes, that's what I get. So it's creamy, but it's still rather subtle. Like it's smooth and easy and calming and still really nice. And the dry down, I get this bright, fresh orange with a vanillic sweet musk. Yum. So it is creamy, comforting, mellow, cuddly, but still fresh with that orange. It's beautiful. It's really fun. It's not super complex, but it's easy to wear. So darn easy. So universally pleasing. The almond blossom is coming out for me too. Yeah, it's a really pretty blend. If you like a little bit of citrus with that creaminess backdrop. And the Play-Doh scent goes away. It doesn't really bother me after the first maybe 5 minutes or so. So don't worry about that too much. But I just love that like opening fruit punch feeling. It's really fun. Anyway, and performance-wise, it's pretty much a skin scent like the last one. So you do have to really overspray it. So it is one that's a little bit elusive. And you have to chase it down a little bit. But it's well worth the chase. And that is Dragee. Next is one I bought a full bottle of because I think I'm really loving this one. And that is Vanille Santal. That's what the bottle looks like. And it has this kind of funky curve to it. And then this is what the box looks like. And this has top notes of spices and caramel, middle notes of sandalwood and cashmere wood, and base notes of Madagascar vanilla and musk. So this is way, way up my alley. And on first spray on my skin, you definitely get like a Paleo Santo, what do you call it? Palo Santal or whatever they call it, like those incense, and you get vanilla. So it smells very incensey and creamy and sweet, so like unburnt incense. And the dry down, it stays the same, but it becomes like a little bit richer of the incense smell. It's really sexy, but also calming. So this is one that I give credit to for being both simple and straightforward, but also really beautiful and emotive. This is a really pretty incensey smell with a little bit of vanilla sweetness. Performance-wise, it's awesome. It has great projection and longevity, really hits home all day. So I'm loving this Vanille Santal. Next I have Oud, which came out in 2012. So it's another original scent for them, whereas the last one, Vanille Santal, came out I think in 2020. So it was a lot more recent. So Oud has notes of oud, cardamom, saffron, castoreum, amber, pink pepper, patchouli, and rose. And when I first spray this on my skin, it's oud. It's a very woody, dense, resinous oud. It smells like it's slightly burning. It's kind of mysterious. And then in the dry down, of course, it still smells like oud. So it has like this calming, incensey type feel, but it's really not jarring. On my skin, it's soft and pleasant, and the burning sensation kind of goes away. Or smell. It's not like it burns my skin, but like it has this nice, dense, incensey smell. But unlike Vanille Santal, it does not have any sweetness or vanilla in it to my nose. Maybe a hint of floral, but it's really actually, I can imagine, nice for layering for when you want to add that incensey feeling to something that's a bit brighter. Performance-wise, it's actually not as strong. It's pretty good longevity. Like it lasts most of the day, but it only has decent projection. So you'll want to overspray this, which is new for an oud. Usually oud is just like impossible to contain, but this one is subtle, which is really nice because you can layer it on nicely. So yeah, this is really pretty. Reminds me of like being at a bonfire or something, or like burning a really beautiful incense stick. So highly recommend this. That is Oud. It's hard to believe this, but they say that this next one came out in 1970. Okay, so that is Ambre. It's spelled A-M-B-R-E, so that's like ombre or amber. But anyway, this has top notes of geranium and clove, middle notes of patchouli, sandalwood, guaiac wood, and Virginia cedar, and base notes of ambergris, benzoin, French labdanum, vanilla, and musk. And it does smell kind of old-fashioned. It smells very masculine. So at first on my skin, it's this powdery masculine musk, but with a little bit of sweetness. Very, very musky. Then the dry down, I get some more spices in there. So I interpreted those as like clove mostly, and then some vanilla and musk. So it's again, it's pretty subtle. It's not too complex, and it does have that right amount of sweetness that I really like. But overall, it smells a lot more cologne-like than perfume-like. But it's smooth. It's really well blended. Has just that right amount of spiciness and muskiness. This is one that's like really nicely androgynous, which I'm getting much more into, is perfumes or fragrances that could go either way and that kind of make me feel like, I don't feel sexy for some reason. I'm not sure why. Man, I feel like a woman. But anyway, this is actually a really nice one. 1970 or not, it's still really good. Oh, it's an eau de toilette. So that probably explains why performance is pretty poor. You have to really overspray on this one, but I kind of like that you can just layer it on as you want to versus being bombarded with it all day because it is so masculine. So yeah, that's interesting. So that is Amber. So I talked enough about musk being in the Amber perfume, but now I have actually musk. And this isn't actually on Fragrantica, so I don't know if it's like one of the older ones as well, but I'll just read off the card. The notes are ylang ylang and white musk. So it does not sound up my alley at all, but I'm gonna give myself a little refresher anyway. Yeah. So on my skin at first spray, it's like a really tangy, old-fashioned smelling musk. So maybe it is one of the older ones. In the deep dry down though, it gets a little bit sweeter. And it is like a mellow, nice, easy musk. I don't really get ylang ylang in it though. It's actually kind of a lovely musk. Like, it's a little old-fashioned smelling, but it is a simplistic, easy, nice layering musk. Yeah, pretty basic. It has a little bit of like a bitterness that doesn't really work for me. And performance-wise, it's also largely a skin scent. You would have to really overspray to get this going on your skin. Yeah, it's just kind of like an old man's musk. It kind of smells like a little bit cologne-like. It's like a really basic musk. Yeah, it's just not really my thing, but it is, if you're like really into musk, it's definitely worth checking out because it's like this nice old school style. All right, so that is musk. Next I have Patchouli N Roses, which again is not at all up my alley. Now, this is rose. This is rose. So on first spray on my skin, it's like a romantic, realistic rose with some powderiness to it. So it kind of reminds me of crushed rose petal potpourri next to some old-fashioned makeup powder. That's what it feels like. So kind of vintage smelling. And in the dry down, I get bright, beautiful, realistic rose petals. I mean, I do love a good bouquet of roses. Even if I don't love smelling like roses all the time, I do appreciate a good bouquet. So it has that natural sweetness, and the patchouli is definitely hanging back there. It's more in the background, like rounding out the scent, but it's definitely there, which allows the rose to really shine. So it has two types of rose. It has damask rose, regular rose, I don't know why there's two types there, patchouli and musk. And this is rose forward. This is a rose perfume. It's bright, it's airy, it's fresh, a little bit of greenness to it. Yeah, it's like a powdery but realistic rose. So, I mean, it's not my thing, but if you like rose and you like it really simple and straightforward and even blendable, like if you want to put something else with it, and performance is good. Like, it really does last on my skin and project really well. It's not beast mode, but it is pretty good. So yeah, not my thing. Obviously, you can see from my face, I'm like, oh, it's great. But if you like rose, you really will like this. It's a quality, beautiful rose. That is Patchouli N Roses. My final 5 are all part of the Rem collection, capital R-E-M, and this was initiated in 1996. So they kind of fall into the vintage category a little bit. Top notes on this Rem Eau de Parfum are seawater, lilac, jasmine, and rose. Middle notes are fenugreek and patchouli, and base notes are tonka bean, vanilla, and musk. And at first spray on my skin, I get a green note with a creamy, smooth vanilla. So the vanilla is definitely there. But unfortunately, there's also this kind of zesty, pungent smell, and also like this synthetic chemical note that I'm really not enjoying. And in the dry down, the C notes come out a lot more. And then the tonka bean, musk, and vanilla come out more as well to round it out. But I have to say, it's really odd. Like, this salty note riding alongside this like dense, beautiful, rich tonka musk vanilla thing, it doesn't really work. It kind of smells chemically and like it's just not quite right. And performance-wise, it's not good either. It's really just a skin scent. It's pretty much gone after a few hours. So yeah, I wouldn't say that Rem really hit it out of the park, but stay tuned because the other 4 are a lot better. Next, I have Rem Coco, and this came out in 2020, and it shows. It's a lot better. It has top notes of coconut nectar and C notes, middle notes of coconut milk, solar notes and floral notes, and base notes of musk and vanilla. And the first spray is a really happy, bright, fresh coconut. It is seriously a joy. And then in the dry down, it still has that bright, sweet coconut, like that fleshy coconut, but then it also has this hint of salt. So not a lot, just a hint. So it's playful, it's beachy, it's easy. It's not super complex, but it is well blended and everything fits well together. There is a little bit of musk and a little bit of sweetness from the vanilla, but really primarily, like as it projects on my skin, it reads as like a slightly salty coconut scent. And I'll admit, there's enough of those in the world. We don't really need a lot more of those, but for what it is really delicious. It's a really good showing of a salty coconut beachy vibe. Performance-wise, it's actually pretty good. It lasts all day, but it does fade partway through the day. So you kind of have to like reapply it to get that projection back. But I can totally see being on the beach and just like re-upping this throughout the day and just absolutely adoring it in my hair and on my bathing suit and everything. I see it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Rem Coco. Now I have Lady Rem, which was a 2018 release, and that shows too. Because a few years ago, I feel like the leather and like the intense, deep, like kind of challenging perfumes were bigger. And so anyway, this fits. So it has a top note of raspberry, middle note of orange blossom, and base notes of tobacco, leather, and patchouli. And oh my God, just even in the air right now, it smells like burning embers of a campfire and a little bit of rubber in there for good measure. But in the dry down, it is straight up leather. It is overpowering, it is stark, it is one note, it is not subtle. This is in your face, real deal leather. So if you are a leather kind of person, oh, it's too much. Honey, it is way too much. I am like overwhelmed by it just being on this card in front of me right now. Performance obviously is strong. It's beast mode. It will not let you go. It will strangle you in its leather grip all day. So yeah, what more is there to say? Leather, yes. If you want leather, Lady Rem is your girl. Next I have Rem Escale à St Barth. And this came out in 2017. It has top notes of watery notes, mandarin orange, and bergamot, middle notes of sand, ylang, and orange blossom, and base notes of salt, vanilla, sandalwood, amber, and musk. And on first spray, this is a tropical concoction. It has coconut, it has what I thought was lime, but I guess it's bergamot, but it's also creamy and sweet and has this nice green note in it. And in the dry down, they really nailed this watery note. It's bizarre. It doesn't smell like ocean or like saltiness. It smells like the experience of water, which doesn't really have a smell. So I guess it's just like ozonic or something. And it has a bit of like citrus zest. It's fresh. It reminds me a lot of coconut water. So coconut water in itself isn't actually super sweet. It's kind of pulpy and like coconut flake kind of tasting and smelling. But it's really watery. It's not like super dense. Like sometimes you buy it and it's really dense. I think when you just like drip it out of the coconut, it's more watery than that. Has less substance to it. But so it's light. It's like just the slightest bit of sweetness. It's delicious. This is really nice. Rem Coco is definitely the coconut, but the Rem St Barth adds in that bergamot and that watery note, and it's different. It's a little bit lighter in a way. It's not like as forward beachy, but it's an experience. It's a real experience. Now, performance-wise, unfortunately, it is a skin scent, so you have to really, really overspray it. That watery note just drifts right away. It doesn't really stick to skin very well. But it's cool. You should definitely check this out. It's a really cool one with that watery note in it. So that is Rem Escale à St Barth. We've made it this far, so let's close the books on Rem with number 13, which is Rem L'Acqua. It has top notes of watery notes and bergamot, middle notes of sea salt and narcissus, and base notes of musk, woodsy notes, and amber. I'm not getting any of those base notes. It's pretty linear. It doesn't develop too much on my skin, but basically it's like a zesty, briny seawater. And this is a very realistic seawater. Like I can really see myself being in the ocean, holding my glass of like sparkling water with bergamot in it, and like just smelling the ocean. It smells very realistic because of that brininess and that natural salt smell. Yeah, it's fun. It's actually really fun. It's really refreshing. I can see it being a hot summer day and spraying this on myself and just letting it evaporate and cooling down with it. It's like a tall drink of water. It really is. And performance-wise, it's actually really great for being like a watery, citrusy note. It's really performing on me all day, and it does project for most of the day. It needs like one re-up throughout the day just because I really like it around me all day. But it's fun. It's light and easy. It's charismatic, dare I say. It's really unique and an easy perfume to wear. It's very androgynous, really unisex. Anyone could wear it. So yeah, I think we're ending on a high note. We got a few in there that were pretty tropical, and this I think checks that box as well, just without the coconut. So that is Rem L'Acqua. This has been a whole bunch of fun and a whole bunch of perfumes. So I hope you learned something about Reminiscence today. I really did in the process of learning about these perfumes and trying them on. I have a lot of respect for this house, and it's really affordable. So definitely worth checking out. So let me know which of these perfumes you might like to try or which you've already tried. So thanks for being here. Hope you have a very beautiful day.